time now to Ask Our Auto Man segment. Today we're talking about our shocks and our struts on our vehicle. I don't know anything about these things, Brian, so I'm going to ask 100 questions. How are you today?
Great. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Okay, so we're talking about shock struts. I know that they do have a big thing to do with the way your vehicle drives and the way it feels. Am I getting warm? Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit?
You're getting there. They have a lot to do with the ride of your vehicle.
Okay.
Obviously, a worn-out shock or strut causes a vehicle to a bigger vehicle rides kind of like a boat and floats.
Okay.
So they add stability to the suspension, which can be good for a great ride. It's also good for safety, obviously, if you had to swerve to miss something like that keeps the vehicle stable. And it does several other things. We have a couple examples here because you either have struts or shocks or a combination of struts and shocks on your vehicle, depending on how the manufacturer set the vehicle up. And the important thing about these, not only, like I said, the ride, but they do things like keep the tire flat on the road, which again is another safety issue, but also prevents the tire from cupping, because when you get a worn out shock or strut and you hit bumps, like going down the freeway, you've probably seen a tire on a car doing this going down the freeway.
Yeah.
It's bad shock or strut, usually possibly
or you feel
a
it
bad
in
tire.
your car. So if you don't feel it though, is there any way to look at them to tell if they're worn?
You can't really look at them except for the fact unless they're leaking oil or they have pits on them, dings where they've been hit, bent, something like that, or things like the rubber bushings wearing out inside of them.
Okay.
But one way to tell on a car if they're doing their compression is what we call a bounce test.
Okay.
Now when you bounce a car should go down, come up, and stop, just like that. So let's bounce this car here and see. See how the car comes up and stops?
Okay.
The struts on this car are operating properly in good shape.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
Correct.
So I guess a good test right now would be, because we have so many of those potholes here in San Diego right now, maybe driving on those or driving on a dirt road or something, is that really when you can tell if something's off?
Well, a lot of times you can, but like I said, usually technicians will use the bounce test. Okay. Whoever's servicing your vehicle should check your shocks or struts.
So simple test like that, just to see if it bounces.
Very, very simple test. If you feel something weird in your suspension, obviously, feel like the car's not handling properly, that's a good time to mention to your service provider about having them checked. Now, shocks and struts typically last over 60, 70,000 miles or more.
Okay.
We do see some customers come in and say, hey, we were told we need shock struts, check out the car, low mileage. No, you're fine. There's no leaks, no nothing. So it's one of those things that we like to make sure is only replaced when it needs to be.
When it needs to be. Now, how much are we talking cost-wise if you need to come in and get them replaced?
They vary so much from automobile because of the labor involved depending on the type of car and things like that. So you can be looking anywhere from a couple $100 up to $1,000 depending on the type of car you drive, setup, number of hours of labor it takes to replace them.
And again, you know, we've seen so many people who are putting off service because of the economy. We're all kind of strapped for cash right now. Why is this something, though, you don't want to put off?
Well, if you are having a problem, you don't want to put off because in the long run it's going to cost you more money. Wears out tires, suspension components, things like that when they get really bad. Number two, safety. If some reason, you know, it affects the braking of the car and how it operates, if you had to swerve for some reason or something like that, the car just does not respond the way it was made to. So if they are in really bad shape, it's a good thing to have replaced. It'll save you money, keep you safe in the long run.
Okay, one more time, I'm going to have you just show everyone at home how to check, because this
car's got
simple.
real good struts on it, so
that's
there's not a lot up.
But it's supposed to stop.
It
Stop
goes
shaking.
up, down, stop.
Okay, perfect, so that you can do that at home.
Absolutely.
And then you can go and come and see Brian if you need to get them fixed. All right, thanks so much.
All
right, if you have a question, a car question for Brian, drop him an email. The link to his website is on our website, san diego6.com. Just click on Hot Topics.